That show, well, I guess we're here to talk about Deal or No Deal Island. So it was really crazy. And I had to be in a tent with 4 other people. Mm-hmm. And there was snakes, there was centipedes. It was really roughing. It was like Survivor meets Deal or No Deal.
I seen you drive into a mud. Where was it?
It was in Panama, but not where it was developed. It was very much like in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so they threw all these people together and basically $200 million was up for grabs in the woods.
How much?
$200 million. The biggest game.
200?
Yes, that's why I did it.
So for somebody to explain it, break it down. So they put checks or money in briefcases.
Right.
They threw them all over the forest.
So it's the Banker's Island. There's a helicopter. They drop off all these briefcases. They have different dollar amounts from, it could be $5 all the way up to millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So we have to build the board up. So we have to go and find, in the beginning, you're all working as a group to build the board up because the last person standing is the one that plays for the big money. But you can eliminate people along the way. So if you don't like someone, you could just be like, I'm taking you out. Like, I won my game. I'm taking you out. Damn. So it's conniving going on. You have to be good at the challenges and socially you have to be, on point.
This is great for you.
Oh man, I highly recommend you don't miss next week's episode because I had to let this old Karen have it. Real like.
Now is that the old Karen that, I don't know her name, but is that the old woman that y'all had to help her in the mud because
it was all Cap.
Really?
Cap.
That was smart. But see, the lady was old, so she made everybody else go get her stuff because people felt bad for her.
She wasn't that old. She was only 12 years older than me, but, we have melanin.
I guess y'all not friends anymore.
I kept saying, I'm like, we're only 12 years apart. We're 12 years apart. I kept letting it be up.
Throwing it out there.
I mean,
$200 million. So you can't say if you won yet, huh?
I can't.
I did see some lobsters with some oodles and noodles the other day. There have been some changes.
She did fly private here, just to let y'all know.
I mean, there's been some changes. There's been a few changes. But, so definitely this week, you definitely want to catch this week's episode. There's a lot of fireworks this week. Like C Murder was definitely there this week.
And Deal or No Deal, weren't you on that back in the day?
Yeah.
It's
the pilot.
Okay.
I did 4 years on that, and that was the highest rated show on NBC since Friends. We would have 13, 14 million viewers a night. So it was a classic. They wanted to bring it back, but then they mixed it with Survivor. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard, but they had civilians. They would know the celebrities on there. Mm-hmm. Well, Boston Rob, he won Survivor 5 times. Mm-hmm. So he was on there, but everybody else, they was Googling before we got in the jungle, saying you shouldn't be here because you already have a good life. And that kind of caused a little bit of tension. I'm like, so it's up to you to tell someone else that they've had enough success for you. Right. So that kind of happened.
Yeah, $200 million success is different than
I don't care anything.
Come on.
Yeah. So what made you want to do this? What was the call about? What's it?
$200 million?
$200 million.
Really? That was it?
Yeah, I'm trying to retire. I'm tired. You know how much I work? Yeah. I'm working a lot, I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
Especially as Black women. We got to do twice as much sometimes. Well, Deal or No Deal's always been sentimental for me. Mm-hmm. I was on it since the pilot, and I feel like if they're going to do a show about Deal or No Deal, I'm damn sure going to be a part of it because it means a lot to me. It was a big part of middle America really knowing who I was. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That show. And it seemed like it would be fun. Mm-hmm. It was
athletic stuff that you had to do. Did you train for it?
I did. We had to do a swim test. You had to really be good at, holding your breath underwater.
There's no way Karen passed that swim test. There's no way.
You'll leave Karen alone.
White people know how to swim?
Huh?
They know how to swim?
Now, if you would have seen her trying to get through the mud, you would be like, I'm surprised she passed the second episode. Yeah, how did she even make it?
So you seen the first episode. Mm-hmm. You saw how the poker player helped her out and it kind of messed himself up. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like why are you doing yourself a disservice by doing that? You changed her trajectory of the game because if you didn't do that, she'd have been out of there the first episode. And she kind of does a lot of backstabbing stuff on the show. So it does get a little testy by next episode, I will say.
Yeah.
How long did y'all take for?
We were there for 3.5 weeks in a jungle. I had 100 bites on my legs from one day. Sand fleas, mosquitoes, and we had to take medication before we went out there. We had to take anti-malaria medication because you can really, Panama, that's where it really went down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to get all types of shots and stuff too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was the hardest thing you had to do? What the hardest obstacle?
The hardest thing I think was day one because we're thinking I thought it was going to be a cute little game of go find the cases in the woods. So they just tell you, they don't really tell you what's coming up. So they'll say, go around the corner, you'll see the cases. I'm like, all right, cool. You don't know what you're in for. You remember the movie, The Coliseum?
Gladiator?
Gladiator, yeah. Mm-hmm. When you don't know what's on the other side of the wall. They just open up the gate and you have to just fight with whatever's in there. They let us go into this pit and the very first step you take, you're waist deep in mud.
Yikes.
And you don't know. And have you ever tried to navigate through mud?
No.
That's waist deep, that has centipedes in it. So it was really physically challenging. Yeah. And then you have the backstabbing element. So it's like mentally you have to be sharp, physically you have to be sharp, and then socially.
Oh, so there's people trying to take you out.
Yeah. So say you're in the bottom 2 of that
200
challenge.
million, bro.
Yeah. Say you're in the bottom. Say we're in the bottom 2 of the challenge, right? And one of us has to play the banker. Say it's you. If you make a good deal, you get to stay on, but you get to take out anyone else that doesn't have immunity. So you could just be petty and just take out someone that you think is like a strong competitor. If you make a bad deal, then you go home. So with that much money on the line, you're going to like do whatever you, like you're going to be grimy about it. So there's that's happened. Like last night, the brother got taken out by the old white lady. And it was really mean how she did it. She was saying like he was so sneaky, but she was a sneaky one.
Wow. It doesn't seem safe. You're talking scorpions and snakes. It doesn't seem like you guys just signed off on this.
We did. And while we're there, I go, I don't know about this. Like I could probably die here, but you know.
Did anybody get hurt to the point where you had to take them to the...
People got bit by snakes. They had someone walking around our camp every night that was a boa constrictor catcher. So his job was to catch the boa constrictor so they don't go into our tents. We're sleeping in tents.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah.
Did somebody got bit by one?
Oh yeah, like multiple people got bit.
Yeah.
You have to put your hands in some things and then snakes will bite you.
You have to sign liabilities and waiver forms and stuff like that.
But you got to do that on Housewives. You know what I mean? Like on most reality shows, you have to like sign off.
There's a different type of snake on Housewives.
I mean,
different type of snake. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But you can get tore up.
I wanted to ask you about Deal or No Deal back in the day when what was the semblance of you holding case number 9 the first week, but then being number 1 the rest of the...
I don't know. They just like changed me and I kind of liked it because I feel like I was there since day one. So it kind of like was sentimental. But we met a lot of people through that. That's when Trump came through that show. Okay. And because of that, he put me on Celebrity Apprentice. I don't rock with him anymore, but you know, that show was a big deal. Like you got to see people's lives be changed from, you know, winning crazy amounts of money.
Yep, Charlamagne the God here, Weekends at the Breakfast Club. That was the first part of our conversation with Miss Claudia Jordan. Now we got the top 6 songs in the country coming, plus more from C Murder. Claudia Jordan coming up next on Weekends at the Breakfast Club.
More Weekends with the Breakfast Club.